Y'all want to talk about that one time I got in trouble?
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there.
That one time I got in trouble in basic training. I'm not proud of this, but I will say that it was bullshit. I'm in basic training, right? We're on week 6. So I want to say by week 6, we were probably in white phase. Were we? Hell yeah. We were in white phase. We were about to phase up to blue. So, you know, if you're coming into the Army, then you know the whole like red, white, blue phase. So we were at the end of white and we were getting ready to phase up to blue. And it was like December. So, you know, I'm doing my thing. Like, I'm doing my best to stay out of trouble. Excuse me. Doing my thing. Well, this one night, every night there's this thing called Fire Guard. You might not know what that is yet, but if you've served or if you've gone to basic training, you know exactly what it is. Basically, there's 24-hour shifts. You have to do an hour shift. So depending on what your time is, it could be 1 o'clock in the morning. They're going to wake your ass up. You got to get up, put your you already have your PTs on, put your sneaks on. You're going to grab your weapon. You got to do certain cleanings. You got to help out with the laundry. You're doing your Fire Guard shift. In the actual military, your Fire Guard shift is called like CQ. You could be doing that shit for 24 hours. So an hour is nothing. Anyway, so I did my Fire Guard shift. I had my shower. And what you're not supposed to have in basic training is a headscarf. If you are African American and you are female, then it is a high probability that you probably have curly hair, curly or kinky hair. My hair was both curly and kinky at the time. And it was just a mess trying to keep my hair together. My company also didn't let us have sock buns. Like, come on. So a lot of the other companies, you could have sock buns. Like, they wanted their females to look sharp. And my lame company, they was like, no sock buns. It was complete BS, but no sock buns, no headscarves. So you know a black girl with curly hair is going to be out here in these streets looking a mess. I'm not trying to look a mess. I don't care if it's basic training or not. So I kept my scarf. Now, was I wrong? Yes. However, it's like a lose-lose situation because if you don't keep your scarf and you walk around looking crazy by the head, then the drill sergeant's talking shit about you. They like, you know, she walking around looking crazy and not put together or whatever. So you literally lose. And in the Army, you know, or in the military period, there's this look, right? It's like this sleek bun, boom, boom, bow. You know, it's like this whole look that females go for. Well, if you're black, and your hair is not permed, you don't have no damn sleek bun. You got a curly fro. And that's what I went to basic training with, a curly fro that I absolutely loved. That I have no more, as you can see. But I had a curly fro. And so this one particular night, had my shower, I washed my hair, and I had to tie it down. I had to. I was like, if I don't tie my hair down, I'm going to have like a big fro. It's going to be a mess. So and it's a bright blue scarf. It was like blue, white, green. Tie my hair down. Normally, I tie it down for like a good 10 to 15 minutes. That's enough to like keep it in place. And then I'll put something else on my head and go to sleep. Well, I was exhausted. Fell asleep with the scarf on. Now, my senior drill sergeant comes up the stairs. She's doing her check. So when they walk through, they're checking to make sure everybody's in bed. All the weapons are accounted for. She sees this bright blue, white, and green thing on my head. Goes effing berserk. Get that shit off your fucking head. Take that shit off. Take that shit off. She's like, well, everybody is awake now, right? Everybody's sleep is completely interrupted. Take that shit off. She literally, like, I'm like sleep, like unraveling my scarf, and she snatches it out of my hand and she walks away. Don't hear from her again. A couple days later, they call me in the morning before we start our day. Only time people get called like that is when they're getting counseled negatively. Like, here we go with the bullshit. So I go to the office. I'm being counseled for a headscarf. So they're reading my counseling statement, and I'm like, okay, they're probably going to take a couple dollars. Like, they could take some of your money or whatever, different privileges. Just so happened we had holiday block leave coming up. They was like, not only are you being counseled, which is already negative, we're going to take your holiday block leave and we're going to recommend you for Article 15. Sis, I'm like, an Article 15? I said, do you realize that I'm black? I like said this to my senior drill sergeant. Like, do you realize, can you tell that I'm black? And that my hair is curly? And that if I don't lay my edges down, I'm going to be out here in these streets looking crazy?
Oh, hell no!
And I said, you guys are always on us to look sharp, to look put together, to have our uniform tight, but you don't let African American females properly groom themselves. This is a part of our grooming. She was like, well, there's no authorized headgear at night, so basically you shit out of luck. What? I accepted my punishment, but my thing was, this is bullshit. Like, how long have black women been serving in the military? How long have we had, like, this is literally, I'll insert a picture. This is literally the way my hair grows out of my scalp. And so there's no type of accommodation for people who are African American or even Latina who have like, or bushy curly hair. And ours is like, it can go so far as to go kinky curly. So it's even more challenging to manage. I just think it's complete bullshit. If there are any leaders watching my video, I think the fact that there are no allowances made for African American females going through basic training to wrap their hair and do proper hygiene and maintenance is bullshit. I ended up not getting an Article 15 because I pleaded my case. I had a crazy circumstance happen in my family. It was just like a crazy domino effect, but I ended up not getting an Article 15. I ended up being counseled and basically got a verbal reprimand where it's just like, you know, that was not the proper thing to do, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I had a phenomenal commander. She was wonderful. I'll leave it at that. I recognize that I was wrong. So let me just say that. I was not supposed to have the scarf, right? I get it. I struggled with the fact that there is a standard that is expected to be kept when it comes to hygiene, maintenance, and looks in the Army. There's a standard. And if you don't meet that standard, you get ragged on. So if 90% of the females are of Caucasian, they're white, or they're Hispanic, and they have hair that for the most part slicks back with some water and a little bit of product, and it's slick all day, right? They're gonna look relatively put together all the time. But then you have African American females who our hair does not fall down. Our hair dries up. So into a crown, of course. But our hair dries upwards. So if we don't have something to like lay it down, we're literally fighting against gravity with our hair, okay? Like, I need for you guys to understand. Leaders, understand. Black women, we're fighting gravity and the Army at the same time. We need somebody to work with us in the universe, and gravity is not going to change. So the only thing that can change is the Army. You guys can change. You can do it for us. We fight for you. We just asking to wear a headscarf in basic training. I mean, we're not throwing up gang signs. We just want to lay our hair down and look presentable like our peers. But you guys don't let us be great. You got us out here looking straight like trash, and the other females in our platoon and in our company, they're looking very put together because they can. I think that shit is unfair. I think it's unfair, and I think something should be done about that. That's how I got in trouble in basic training. I had a headscarf, and I was trying to dry my hair and lay my hair down so I could be presentable the next day. And I ended up getting caught with it, and they said that I had contraband for 6 weeks, and that I was dishonest, and that I was what did they say? Disrespecting the uniform. How about you give black women some options, and we won't have that problem. So, I do not condone being dishonest or, going against the rules. The rules are the rules. I took a gamble on looking presentable. And I fully believe that how you present yourself to the world is how you're going to be received. And unfortunately, I don't feel like the playing field is fair when it comes to African American women and hair care and health and hygiene, because our hair care is a part of our hygiene practices. And if we are not permitted to keep ourselves in the same way that our peers are keeping themselves, I just don't think that that's fair. Hello, equal opportunity. I was able to manage to escape the Article 15, and also I ended up just with the counseling, and then that was that, and I moved on to AIT, and the world was great, and they love me, but in basic training, it was what it was. So yeah, don't get in trouble, follow the rules, also have fun, and give yourself some space to breathe and to do you a little bit. That's all I gotta say.